Yeah! Let's go, everybody. It is fight night. We are finally here. It is UFC 317 going down tonight at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys all know the main event. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the vacant UFC Lightweight Championship, the co-main event. Alexander Pantoja puts his flyweight title on the line against Kai Kara France. We got Brandon Royval taking on the surging Josh Van. We got Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. That's a pretty solid main card. And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm making my picks for the MMA Fighting staff pick contest that we do pretty much on a regular basis. And I realize that we are 43 minutes away from this event starting. And, well, I haven't submitted my picks just yet. So I got to actually go ahead and do that as we're doing this. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm paying attention very much to what's happening. We're going to answer all of your questions very, very soon. I just got to pick two more, and then we are donezo. Boom. Last one. Boom. All right, we're done. We're done. All right, picks are all in. I'll let you know what I did for the main card in a moment, but let's get right into this and discuss UFC 317. Let's answer some questions, and let's get this party started. Super Chats obviously gets at the front of the line. So we'll start there. Nam Kablam, who is the biggest UFC star right now? It's the UFC. I mean, the UFC is the biggest star. Dana White's the biggest star. That's what's happening right now. So, yeah, if we're talking fighter, I guess Pereira, but I don't even know if that's true. If Ilia Topuria wins tonight, it is him, and it's without question, it's going to be him. So there just aren't any stars anymore. There just aren't. So, but Topuria could be one. Last stand. How bad would it be for the UFC if Van, Talbot, and Topuria all got finished? I mean, I don't think it's gonna, like, honestly, I don't think it's that bad. Especially based on what I just said. There are no stars right now. It doesn't matter. The UFC will move on if every fighter that they like or they're promoting or they're pushing right now, if all of them got finished in like 20 consecutive fights, it would not hurt the UFC in any way, shape, or form. Not in any way at all. So the answer is not bad. I think Topuria getting finished would be kind of bad, but again, Topuria could just go fight Paddy Pimblett. That's a huge fight. And if he wins that fight, he can go fight for the belt again. It's okay. If Van gets finished by Brandon Royval, there's no shame in that. That's something that could definitely happen. Brandon Royval is a very good fighter. He's great. Guy fought for the belts. A lot of people think he should be fighting for the belt tonight over Kai Kara France. Brandon Royval is very good. And Josh Van just fought 3 weeks ago. So I don't think there'd be any shame in that. Peyton Talbot, it'll be a tough one for Peyton, but again, no effect on the UFC. No effect to the UFC. By the way, a lot of people were wondering where E. Casey Leiden is. He is in Anaheim for the Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez event. So, yes, that's why he is not here. He won't be here for the watch party. He won't be here for the post-fight show or anything of that nature. So it'll be fun. Let's go to Joseph Boza. Mike did a great job interviewing Chris Ewert as an exclusive for this channel. What was going through his mind when Chris revealed he had to cut 31 pounds in 40 hours? So, yeah, that was interesting. We talked a lot about the Chris Ewert situation on the preview show. It's pretty wild. I still don't understand why this couldn't have been a catchweight fight. Because, I mean, based on, if you watch the interview with Chris, and I was basically talking to his coach who told me everything that was happening. We had dropped an article at about 11 o'clock last night maybe a few minutes before that. And as that article had dropped, we were still talking back and forth, myself and his coach, Javier Torres. And he was sort of telling me about Chris's story and everything. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, I'd love to talk to him about that. And he was like, okay, let's do it right now. I'm like, whoa. Right now? And he was like, yeah, he's right here. I'm like, okay. So literally with like 30 seconds of preparation, I did that interview with Chris Ewert. And I saw a comment like right off the bat, and I don't even really look for it, but I saw it. It was like, someone was like, feeling sorry for yourself because you couldn't make weight for the fight is, a choice or something of that nature. And I was thinking to myself, this person clearly didn't watch the interview because Chris did not feel sorry for himself. He's taking this as sort of a challenge of, all right, well, now is not the time. I'll just come back a different time. But yeah, it was pretty fascinating stuff when it came to Chris Ewert, that when they were told about this fight, they're like, yeah, let's do it at 195. And kind of buried in all of this is, they said, like, when they got the contract in Vegas for the fight, it said 185. And they're like, no, let's do 195. And they kept trying to push this 195 narrative about making this fight happen. And it's not out of the realm. It's not a decision that there's no precedent for. We just saw it. We literally just saw this a week ago. Miktabek Oralbai was supposed to fight Tofik Musayev in a lightweight fight. And they bumped it to a catchweight of 165. No explanation, no nothing. All we knew is that it was on Oralbai's side. That's okay. We could bump that up to a catchweight, but we can't bump this one up to a catchweight for a guy that's taking a fight on 3 days' notice. He's pretty much 2.5 days to cut 30 pounds. It's crazy to me. It's the first fight of the night. Who gives a shit? Seriously. Those two guys would have went out there and put on a show. I'm bummed this fight's not happening. But I also understand the opposing view as well. If you sign a contract, you say, I'm going to make the weight, you make the weight. But I can guarantee you that if Jackson McVeigh was told about this, because it seems like he wasn't, if they're like, yo, Jax, you want to do this at 195? You think Jackson McVeigh Thursday night would have been like, no, let's do it at 185? He would have been like, hell yeah, I don't have to cut that extra 10 pounds. So the whole thing's super weird to me. Chris is a really good fighter. And getting to know him a little bit more was, it was kind of fun. He was a big family man, just hearing what he has to do on the side, does construction, but to make ends meet in Chile, he goes door to door selling eggs and tomatoes to help his family. And yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So good on him. Daniel Forrest, who has the most to lose, who has the most to gain at UFC 317? Mike, you're the GOAT. Thank you, Daniel. I mean, I think Charles Oliveira is the most to lose. The more I think about it, the more I feel like that is the correct answer. Charles will never get another title shot if he loses this fight. Like, maybe he'll get like a BMF title shot. You know what I mean? Like, if Max is still the BMF champion, I still want to see Max Holloway fight Charles Oliveira. I don't care if it's for the BMF title or the NMF title or whatever MF you want to add to it. I want to see Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira because we didn't really get to see the first one happen. They fought in Canada and then Charles got hurt and we never really got to see the fight the way it played out. So yeah, but yeah, as far as his dream of being a 2-time champion, that dies tonight if he loses to Ilia Topuria. Kai Kara France, you could probably make a case for that as well. But I will go with Charles Oliveira, excuse me. The most to gain, Josh Van. Got to be Josh Van. Josh Van probably gets a title shot if he beats Brandon Roybal tonight. So that's what I think. Dana said, still no Arman title shot even now. Dana White also said that John Jones and Tom Aspinall was 100% happening. You remember when he said that? Do you remember when he sat there literally 12 feet from me into a live microphone and said, I 100% guarantee you that John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is happening. And it's not happening. So when Dana says things, it does not mean they're true. Having said that, Dana does like to hold a grudge, so it wouldn't shock me. But if Charles wins the belt tonight, you got to get, like, Charles should call for Arman. Like, do the thing. Because the one thing that can help Arman in this situation is if the guy who wins the belt calls for him. And I think Charles might actually call for him because Arman has a win over him. So if he rolls out the red carpet for Arman, they might just do that. But I do think Arman probably has to get one more win. I think Arman deserves a title shot. I know what happened sucks, but he'll probably have to fight again. Did you see Ring Magazine captioning Paul versus Chavez? No. I did not. So, you know, I appreciate that. Love you too. Love all of you. Let's keep them going here. Hosada, thoughts on Ilya getting booed? He seems pretty respectful to everyone except the Dagestanis. I think he beats Charles. Also thoughts on the PFL event. So Rogan kind of said it, and I was talking to some folks that were there. There are a lot of Brazilians in that crowd. There are a lot of Charles Oliveira fans that were in that crowd yesterday. Is that going to translate over to the arena tonight? I don't know. But I think Ilya probably gets booed tonight. Charles is like unanimously beloved. Like, Ilya's a great fighter and people respect him and they know he's good. But just because they respect you and they think you're a good fighter doesn't mean they're going to cheer you. Like, Charles has earned that amongst his fan base. So he is a fan favorite through and through, no matter who he fights. I mean, Charles Oliveira fights like Justin Gaethje. Gaethje's got to get some boos. And Gaethje's like the most exciting fighter ever. But people just love Charles Oliveira, man. They just love him. So I think tonight it'll be pretty... Wouldn't shock me if Ilya got some boos, but I think it'll be like a 50-50 crowd tonight for that fight. Thoughts of the PFL event. So I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch a ton of it. I did watch Biagio Ali Walsh get choked unconscious last night by a Chicago, like, local regional fighter. And I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can. And this has nothing to do with Biagio Ali Walsh. I found that hilarious. It's just, and again, this is not disrespectful to Biagio Ali Walsh. This is just when you start sentences with, you want to know what would be so PFL if this happened? Biagio Ali Walsh getting a hand-picked opponent as a minus 1,600 favorite, getting tapped by a dude who his one pro fight as a 31-year-old was for the world-renowned Chicago Cage Fighting League. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But good on him, man. That was pretty wild. The Alexander Romanov thing was another, like, PFL thing and a Romanov thing. Romanov gets kicked in the ding-ding. They rule it a no contest. The judges are like, yeah, cool, no contest, but Romanov gets to move on to the next round, which I kind of respect that, but it's also like a very PFL thing to happen as Romanov is getting stretchered out of the building, out of the Wintrust Arena after getting kicked in the balls real bad. And then he just gets a spot in the finals for a no contest. Very PFL. And I did watch the Sergio Pettis-Rafion Stotts fight. That was pretty fun. I did think Sergio Pettis won that fight. I know there's some people who hit me up and said they thought Stotts won, but I thought Pettis won. But just once that fight was over, I was like, I don't really care about the rest of this. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but when you give us a 10:30 p.m. Eastern main card start the day before UFC 317, what are you doing? Just promotional malpractice. What else we got here? More talk about stars. Topuria is hot right now. Aspinall's going to be the biggest star. I don't know, man. Maybe. Can Biagio Ali Walsh make a comeback? Probably, because they will book him to try to do that. They are going to literally feed Biagio Ali Walsh the worst fighter in the world in his next fight. And they're going to find the worst fighter in the world who has no ground game whatsoever, who will not even attempt to go to the ground with this man. Because Biagio Ali Walsh, like, while I joke around a little bit, guy's talented. Dude hits like a truck. Like, he dropped his opponent a lot in that first round. Dropped him like 3 times, almost finished him. And it was just, dude just toughed it out and got through it. But as soon as that fight went to the ground, we saw just such a glaring hole in his game that he has just no ground game at all. Like, very rudimentary. Like, he would beat me in a grappling match. But in terms of what we're looking for a fighter that we're going to build up as a prospect, as the future of our company, you got to have a ground game. And he got tapped by a 31-year-old pro fighter who was fighting most of his fights like in Chicago. Like, this was not supposed to happen. And as soon as that fight went to the ground, it happened. So I'll say yes, but it depends on what you mean by a comeback. Because, like, look at what we're dealing with here. Lost his amateur debut. He signed with PFL as a 1-1 amateur. He went 5-0. Fought a guy who's 1-3, 1-1, 3-2, 2-1, and 3-0 as amateur fighters. He was like a minus $1 billion favorite in all those fights. Then he turns pro, fights a 1-0 guy, and then fought a dude making his debut who, let me look up Brian Stapleton here. Brian Stapleton as an amateur was 4-4 as an amateur. And then Biagio Ali Walsh was his first pro fight. So I don't know what a comeback would be. Like, literally one win against anybody is probably a comeback, but he's got a lot of work to do. He's green as grass. He is 26, so he does have some time, but man's got to go train with Marab for a little while. Connor Mahoney, have you seen Ilya talking about moving up to welterweight to fight Islam? If so, would they let him do it? God, I hope not. I hope not. This is my one issue with the champ fights is that, like, at least now I will say this. If he does this, he needs to vacate the lightweight belt. Like, he's no longer the lightweight champion if he chooses to do this. And then we move on and we crown a new champion. And I know at this point it's just silly, and then we kind of have to get to the point where if you vacate your belt to go up, you should have to win another fight before you get a title shot. Because I think you should have to risk it all to make a move like this. So, yeah, I'm sure Ilya's going to call for it. He's going to try to build this up. It would be it'd be a huge fight. If Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena and then Ilya, like, can you imagine how big that would be? If Ilya could go up to 170 as the featherweight champion less than a year ago, and he wins the lightweight and welterweight belts, that would be wild. What a story that would be. But there's so many fights for Ilya right now, 55. Like, him and Patty is huge. That might be a bigger fight for him right now than Islam Makhachev. There's just so many fun fights. Like, Topuria versus Gaethje would be awesome. Topuria versus half the lightweight, like Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan would be an awesome fight. There's so many great fights for Ilya at 155 right now. So hopefully we don't do any of this shit. If Islam wants to stay at welterweight, great, but we don't need to jump right into this. Oh, let's go right up to 170. Phil. What's up, Phil? Love you guys. Can't wait for the Terrence McKinney fight. See us on the post-fight show. Yes. That will be fun. If you're a betting, I actually haven't even looked at the betting line for that. What's the under in that fight? Under 1.5 is -230 in that fight. What's the under 2.5? Like minus 700 probably. Where is it? Minus 575. If you're a climber, like if you're jumping on the Jed Meshew climb train, I don't hate that as a climb bet. Under 2.5 at minus 575. I think there's like that sounds so high. I actually think there's value here because it's going to happen. It is going to happen. This fight is going under 2.5. So I don't hate that at all. Terrence McKinney is just, man should be employed with the UFC for the rest of his career. Dude is all action. He's get or get got. He's going to either knock Slava Claus out in the first round or he's going to get submitted in round 2 or something. Like he's either going to get a first round knockout or he's going to get finished in the second round. And that's why we love Terrence McKinney. Joshua, if good old Benny gets a spectacular finish, how far away is he from a title shot? Does he find himself in a number 1 contenders bout with Patty and Arman? No. God, no. Absolutely not. I love Benil Dariush. Great guy. I've interviewed him like a couple of times throughout my career, but they were like really short interviews. But I jumped on one of the submission radio shows with Dennis, and Benil Dariush was the other guest on there. And he's the best. Really enjoy talking to him. He's just not going to get a title shot. Like he's like, how far away is he? Like 6 wins? And I like, that sounds mean, but it's true. It's true. Dude's been stopped in the first round in 2 straight. Like, it's not good. It's just a bad place to be. And I know it's the Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. No shame in that. But this division, there's just so many hitters, so many very popular fighters. I know Dustin Poirier is going to be gone, but Benny's best chance, and I say this all the time, I've said this multiple times this week, Benil Dariush's best chance at a title fight was after he beat Mateusz Gamrot. If he had gotten on the microphone and called for a title shot, like legit called for it, and I'm not saying he definitely would have got it, but if he had just went on the mic and called for it, even in a respectful way, I think he had a chance of getting it. It's on the same card. There was a vacant title on the line. Islam Makhachev was fighting Charles Oliveira. At that point, Dariush was the underdog against Mateusz Gamrot. He'd won 8 fights in a row. He beats Gamrot, pulls off the upset, 8-fight win streak. And then he says into a live microphone, when he is asked about a title fight, I don't care. I'll win 10 more in a row before I fight for the belt. I couldn't believe it. I truly could not believe it. And just from there, it's just tough, man. He hasn't fought in almost a year and a half. And that was the Arman Tsarukyan fight where he just got blasted out of there in 64 seconds. Having said that, I'm picking Benil Dariush tonight against Hinata Moicano. I have a bet on Benil Dariush tonight as well. I have the over 2.5 in that fight at minus 110. So I actually have more action on that fight than I expected to have. But I do think Benil Dariush, I do think Benil Dariush is going to win this fight. I got him at minus 108. He's at minus 118 now. So yeah. Would Gaethje be a tough fight for Ilya? Gaethje is a tough fight for everybody. He's a tough fight for everybody because he's such a maniac, but now he's kind of controlled it a little bit. He's got terrific takedown defense. His chin is not what it once was, but Gaethje's an animal, man. I think Gaethje's a tough fight for everybody. I think he would have been a tough fight for Islam too. I would have picked Islam to beat him. But he's just a tough matchup for everybody. All right. I'm just going to try. I know I missed a bunch of these, so I appreciate all the comments. Duke Bad Duck, you versus McVeigh shouldn't have been made in the first place. UFC stacks the IFW card next time because I don't remember the last time an IFW card felt really stacked. This is This is probably like of the last 4. This is probably the second best of the 4 on like tonight's. 290 was incredible. We knew it. Any fight fan that like follows the sport, is more of a hardcore fan than anything, knew that UFC 290 was going to rock. That card, top to bottom, was awesome. It was one of the best cards on paper. And if you've never seen UFC 290 from start to finish, it's one of the best events in the post-COVID era from start to finish. It's just complete. We had a fight of the year contender. We had Volkanovski doing the damn thing. We had the moment where Dricus du Plessis officially arrived, where he knocked out Robert Whittaker. Like, it was just an incredible fight card. There's so much to talk about in the end. It was awesome. It was so good. 276, not the best card on paper. There were a lot of names, but like some of the matchups were really head scratchy. And then in execution, we did get Alexander Volkanovski putting on an all-time performance against Max Holloway in the trilogy. I still, to this day, think it's the greatest championship performance. Maybe number 2. I flip-flop. Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez was about as good as it gets. But Volkanovski just completely shutting down Max Holloway and making Max look like an amateur for 25 minutes is so goddamn impressive to me. So, and then last year was kind of a coddled together, almost cursed International Fight Week card, because that was the Conor McGregor Michael Chandler fight, and then Conor was out, and then they put Pereira and Yuri there last minute, and Dan Ige literally came off the couch to fight the night of the event against Diego Lopez. Like, crazy. So much going on. But yeah, I mean, but again, this is what the UFC is now. There are no stars. They are a business. And from a business perspective, they are doing incredible work. They are making money hand over fist. They reload the roster every summer with contender series guys. And we're going to see a lot of people get cut who are veterans and who are making good money very soon, because we're going to get 40 friggin' fighters added to the roster from the contender series this summer who are going to make 12 and 12. So this is what it is. We have all these events to fill. And because there's so many events, we just got to throw darts sometimes just to fill out numbers. But I actually liked the McVeigh fight. And the other problem was they booked Jackson McVeigh to make his UFC debut, which, by the way, if you've never seen Jackson McVeigh fight, dude is a menace. He just goes out there and finishes everybody. He hasn't gone past I think he's only gone past the 2-minute mark once. He's never seen a second round. It's an absolute dynamo out there. But they booked him against Cedric Dumas, who, like, why is Cedric Dumas getting booked to fight anybody? With everything he has done, what are we doing here? And it's not like Dumas is John Jones. Like, what are we doing? And because, like, Dumas couldn't fight because of his legal troubles, then they bring Chris Ewert in. They have to do this. And again, why did they just make this a catchweight? The whole thing's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. But I love that fight as the opener, because two dudes who just finish everybody they fight for the most part. That would have been just a banger to start the festivities out. So, Dirty Reg, who's the best dog shot on the card? So betting wise, I have a couple of dog bets. I have Jack Hermanson at plus 180. I got Brandon Royval plus 100. I mean, it's not really like a huge upset pick, but I'll go with it. That's kind of it. Like, let me just take a look at him right now. Like, if I were to pull a trigger on something, what would it be? I mean, I think there is value on Charles. I wouldn't do it, but I think plus 330 it would just be a pure value play. I think Peyton Talbot is live. Like, I know he didn't look great in his last fight against Coyote Barcelos, but Peyton's good, man. Like, I'm not going to I have a bet on Peyton Talbot. I took the point spread bet because I actually think Lima is going to win, but it wouldn't shock me if Peyton beat him. So I took the point spread bet for Peyton Talbot plus 3.5 and got that at minus 150. So I'm basically getting Lima by 29-28 decision across the board for minus 150 and getting a little bit of extra juice back. But just kind of looking at this, Royval's plus 102. So I think that's a good dog shot. There's been money coming in on Kai Kara-France all week. He's down to a plus 195 right now. Like, eventually, Pantoja's chin is just not going to be able to hold up. I think Viviane Araújo is an interesting lock. Hyder Emil is an underdog. I am picking him to win tonight. So Hyder Emil plus 116. I think anytime you put your money on Hyder Emil, you could be damn confident that he is going to fight for your money. So there you go. Some more super chats. Mike, thank you. Talbot versus Lina is such a banger. What are your thoughts on both these guys and the stakes involved, especially for Talbot? I love this fight. I'm a little surprised by it, but the more I hear both guys sort of talk about it, especially Peyton Talbot, I actually feel a little bit better about it. So it just kind of seems like Peyton wanted it and it was offered. He said yes. It was kind of one of those things where this is what he asked for. So I love the fight. I think it's going to be, I think it's a great main card opener. I think it's the right choice. And I'm pretty high on both these guys. I am. I think, and I don't know what the stakes are for Peyton. I don't think it's dire if he loses because he's young and he's still a little raw and he's going to keep getting better. But I think we'll learn a little bit more about him tonight. I think he just kind of got vet lessoned. And, you know, Lima's fought really good guys on the way to the UFC. Like he's not one of these guys who goes through the regional scene and fights like 1 in 8 dudes and then gets a call to fight in the UFC. Like Felipe Lima fought for Octagon and fought like real good dudes all the way up. So level of competition wise, Felipe Lima has it in spades over Peyton Talbot, but Peyton's beaten some pretty decent guys along the way too. So especially the name escapes me. I get a couple of these bantamweights confused until I actually see the name. The Cameron Simon one. That's what I was looking for. I got him and Francis Marshall confused for some reason. The Cameron Simon win was so impressive to me. I just didn't see that coming because I was pretty high on Cameron Simon at the time. He just annihilated him. It was an incredible performance. He just beat his ass. And I was not expecting that. So, yeah. Good fight. High on both of them. Both got bright futures. LSR, if Ilya loses tonight, does he stay at lightweight? I think size will affect him tonight a bit. Maybe. I heard some interviews from some folks. I did see a clip of Raul Rosas Jr. talking with Ariel. And Raul Rosas Jr., took a picture with Peyton not Ilya Topuria. Took a picture with Ilya and said, like, dude's a hoss. He feels like a lightweight. He's bigger and stronger and like it's more than you think when you see him in person. So that's something right there. Does he stay at lightweight? Yes, because he's gonna fight Paddy Pimblett, win or lose tonight. He's fighting Paddy Pimblett next, and it's gonna be a gigantic fight. So yes, I think he stays there. All right, let's see what else. PFL had another event. MMA media needs to innovate. You let Nina Drama take over. Yeah, I like Nina. She does good work, but to say she's taken over, it's a little crazy. Mike, you must have forgotten the champ has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira. Yeah, man. I can't wait for this fight. Man, there's a golly. There's a lot of chats in here. I'm basically just throwing darts right now. Non-317 question. How do you think Usman or Magomedov does at 155 in the UFC? Also, do you think how do you think Shamil Musayev does at 170 in the UFC? Usman, I think, does really well. Musayev does pretty well as well. So Usman's really good. The Paul Hughes fight gave me a little bit of pause, but still super talented, still pretty young. He's going to be fine. I think Usman's a top 5 guy, probably fights for a belt, maybe will be the champion. And Shamil Musayev is one of the more underrated guys in the sport right now. Having said that, I think Gazi Rabadanov might be the best of all three of them. Like, I know we mentioned 2 names, but I think Rabadanov I would be confident he would fight for a UFC belt and probably win it. That's how high I am on him. Like, and I know him and Usman, like, that would be kind of a weird thing, but dude, Gazi is so good. He's so good. You go on submission radio this upcoming week. Maybe. It just kind of depends on timing. Yeah, next week is it would have to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because once Thursday hits next week, I am out of here for like 4 days. Heading a little trip with the family for the 4th, so going to the beach. Over under 4 fouls committed tonight that don't get called. Dude, you could have put that number at 8 and I would have taken the over. I need a moderator. It's a lot, man. Luckily, I'll have Jed tonight. He'll be a terrific moderator. All right, what else we got? Cameron Simon is average. He wasn't at the time, man. He wasn't at the time. When did the fight start? Soon. We'll let you know. 6 minutes. 6 minutes prelims will start. All right, back to the dart throws. Is it just me or does Alvin Hines look like he hosts a mean barbecue? I'm so glad that you brought up Alvin Hines. I think this guy could be the new Parker Porter. I think he could be the new Parker Porter. I really, really do. Did you see him on the freaking ceremonial stage yesterday on the scale? He stood on that scale for like what seemed like 15 friggin' minutes, man. It was the best. He just had that smile on his face. It was awesome. If he wins tonight, he is not Parker Porter. He will never be the GOAT. But definitely a great apprentice for Parker Porter. JCS, resend your random thought, please. There's just so much going on here. Yes, Holly Holm is going to box very soon as well. Will Jed show up tonight? Yes, he will be here for the watch party. I would love to see Patty versus Ilya next for the belt. You will. I think you're going to see Patty versus Ilya no matter what. Jake Paul still fights? Yes. We'll be watching it tonight during the watch party, by the way. We'll be doing some double duty just to watch it. Like, we're not going to go crazy. We're not going to focus on it, but we're going to watch it. And we'll tell you what's going to happen because we're doing the Lord's work for you because we are not, let's just be honest with you. By the way, I will say this. From a boxing perspective, this Jake Paul, Cesar Chavez Jr. card is excellent. Main event, I don't care about. Like Jake Paul, whatever. But the rest of the card is really good. But I cannot allow you, my friends, to spend $80 on this pay-per-view for the UFC that we should all spend the money on because I think it's going to be really good and then drop another $60 on the Jake Paul fight. I cannot let that happen to you. So we will just tell you what's happening in real time. And again, we're going to focus on the UFC, but we will have the Jake Paul fight on the laptop. We'll walk you through things. So if there's a kick to the ding ding in the Josh Van Brand Royval fight or something, we'll be like, oh, here's what's going on with Jake Paul. Oh, he knocked him out in the 3rd round. Thanks for watching. So I'm not going to let you spend $60. We're not going to do it. Four minutes till the fight start, by the way. Will Jacoby Smith be in the rankings next year? Next year? I don't know, man. It's a little soon. What is this damn thing? No, I'll say no. He's good, but he'll be in the rankings at some point. It's just not today. It's just not going to be next year. Bing rip time. Mike, you're my 5th favorite bald person. Also, I didn't know your brother was fighting Denise today. All right. Fair play. Fair play to you. That's good. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Well played. All right. We got a couple more super chats. Any bet on the Jake Paul fight? Hell no. Jake Paul fights, I usually will bet a draw. And I mean, it's so silly. I'm not laying minus 500 on Jake Paul against anybody who has, I just can't do it. I just can't. MMA ref Shaolin needs to show these other refs how it's done. You're damn right. You are damn right. Hype level out of 10 for this card. Oh, all right. We're getting the prelims up right now. I'm pretty high on it. 8.8 is where I'm at right now. 8.8. Is there going to be a watch party for the main card? Yes. Even before it, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Jed will be here. We'll be in living room central for the watch party because it's like 150 degrees in this room. So we're going to bring it inside for the AC, for the comfortability. Maybe you get maybe Shiloh shows up again, the dog, the wonder dog. And we'll go live for the Jack Hermanson, Gregory Rodriguez fight. All right. You're going in timeout. I need a good 3-leg parlay for tonight. Well, I mean, the last time I was asked to do this, like off the top of the dome, if you tailed me, you would have won. You would have won. So I will say this is a tougher card to bet on, honestly. I'll go. We need some like proppy props. All right, let's go some alt totals. All right, so under 2.5, Nico Price, Jacoby Smith is minus 700. Under 2.5, McKinney, Slava Claus is minus 575. I think Hyder Emil Jose Delgado is going to go long. So over 1.5 is minus 205. All right, I think this is a very doable 3-legger right here. Under 2.5, Nico Price, Jacoby Smith. Under 2.5, Terrence McKinney. I'm actually going to make this one myself. Under 2.5, McKinney, Slava Claus. Over 1.5, Hyder Emil, Jose Delgado. Parlay those three up, minus 101. So pretty much even money. I think that's pretty good. That's not too bad. The broadcast has started, by the way. What, you have to buy the fucking DAZN description for this Jake Paul card? No. That's insane. I'm definitely not doing that. Well, yeah, I am, but I don't want to. Hey, don't be giving Achilles laughs here. Come on. Nah, that was good. You want to call me Alvin Hines? All good. That's fucking crazy. I'm definitely not doing that. Maybe payperview.com is doing something. All right. Prelims are about to start for UFC 317. The aforementioned Alvin Hines is about to get after it. So I'm going to give you my main card picks, and then we can get the hell out of here so we can enjoy the festivities. So let me get them here. Let's float them in there. Bonuses as well. I honestly, I think what does better, UFC 317 or Jake Paul? UFC 317 is going to do better. It just is. There's just not a lot of interest for the Jake Paul card. Like, hardcore boxing fans will buy it because it has nothing to do with Jake. Absolutely nothing. They're there to watch the rest of the card. Plain and simple. Just what it's all about. My one concern about this card is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, because I think a lot of these fights are going to be super fun. I think we could be going to the scorecards a lot on this fight card. A lot. So something we need to prepare ourselves for, potentially. I'm hoping that's not the case. But on my cards, I have 7 out of the 11 going to the cards. So there you have it. All right, main card. Let's get into it. Let's pull up our odds courtesy of our friends at FanDuel. Main card kicks off. Bantamweight division. We talked about this fight a few times. Absolute banger. Felipe Lima, the minus 164 favorite, takes on Peyton Talbot. Comeback plus 138 for Peyton Talbot. Like I said earlier, I do think Peyton Talbot's a live dog. I am going to take Lima as my pick by decision. And I have a bet on Peyton Talbot plus 3.5 points at minus 150. So I think Talbot hangs in there. I think he loses a 29-28 decision. And there you have it. Let's go to the next fight. Lightweights, we got Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano, which right now on FanDuel, minus 108 on both sides. Legit coin flip. But I got Benny Dariush already. I had him at minus 108. So Benny Dariush for the pick. The more confidence for this bet, Moicano Dariush over 2.5, minus 110. Definitely took a bigger shot on that number because I kind of think that's how this fight's going to go. It's going to go long. Then we go to the flyweight division. Cannot wait for this fight. We have the favorite, Joshua Van, minus 120. The comeback on Brandon Royval right now, plus 102. I'm going with Brandon Royval by decision. I think Joshua Van is going to be a guy that's going to fight for the belt. I actually think he's going to win the title at some point. He's going to be a UFC champion. I just think Royval is a little too much too soon. So Royval by decision is the pick. I do have a bet on Brandon Royval at plus 100 as well. Let's go to the flyweight title fight, co-main event. Alexander Pantoja, the minus 235 favorite. The comeback on the challenger, Kai Kara-France, plus 194. Money continues to come in on the challenger. I'm staying away from this one. Pants, KKF, under 3.5, plus 135. No, I'm not streaming the prelims because I will lose my YouTube. I will lose this YouTube channel. We're getting out of here in like 2 seconds because I'm going to go watch prelims. Go get ESPN Plus, and then you can watch the damn prelims yourself. Main event, Ilia Topuria, minus 420. Charles Oliveira, the comeback, plus 330. Great fight. Cannot wait for it. The pick is Ilia Topuria. KO. Round 3. He's going to touch Charles' chin and at some point in this fight. He's going to touch it multiple times. KO round 3 for Ilia Topuria. I think because that was the pick, but then I realized, like, preview show, here's how I'm going to stick with round 3 because I can't go otherwise at this point because I already locked it in. Ilia Topuria is going to get badly hurt in this fight. He's going to get badly hurt. It's going to look like he's going to get finished at some point. But then he's going to stay alive. And then Topuria's going to get him. I have a bet on Topuria as well. By KO, minus 175. And that's it, my friends. We are out. We are done. We are through. Check it out. The great Megan O'Leary is on the screen. We got John Anik. We got Joe Rogan. We got Daniel Cormier. We are going to see our new hero, Alvin Hines, make his UFC debut. In a matter of moments, he takes on Janata Deniz. He is a gigantic underdog at plus 360. I'm picking Alvin Hines to win by decision. Why the hell not? Let's have some fun. Let's get after it. I am also going to lock in the other parlay that I mentioned, by the way, from a betting perspective. Price Smith, under 2.5. McKinney, Slavaclaus, under 2.5. Hyder Emil, Jose Delgado, over 1.5. Pays minus 101. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Watch party, 9:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to watch UFC 317. We're going to watch Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I can't wait. Get some food. Get your Bing rips in. Grab your favorite beverage. Let's enjoy some fisticuffs, everybody. I'm Mike Heck. We'll see you later on.